mission trip was incredible because I got to see everyone work together as a team, and I got to get a chance to see how blessings work.
The mission trip was an amazing experience for me because I got to see God's hand at work, and I got to play with a bunch of really fun kids.
I thought the mission trip was amazing because I learned a lot of things about myself and about God on it.
The mission trip was amazing because we got to go see kids and play with them and give them love when they don't normally feel that love and that attention.
Mission trip was great because as a team, like as a whole, our team just worked really good and we had so much fun together, and it was really great being able to see the joy on all the kids' faces.
The mission trip was incredible because it really caused me to not only think about all sorts of things, but also to be grateful for all sorts of things that I have.
Graffiti everywhere. There was this kid's playground, and on the playground, even on the playground, there was just tagging, and it was all vandalized and everything. With the conditions they go through, that they live in, how dark the reservations are, it's so trashed up, but yet these kids can show love, and we can show God's light through the darkness.
What stuck out to me from the mission trip was this little boy named Wade. I met him on Friday, and he was really timid at first, but then eventually he warmed up to me, and he wanted to go on the swings, which was a slide. He was scared of falling off of the big slide, so I told him I'll catch him because I love him, and then he said I loved him more than anybody ever has.
On, I believe it was Thursday, there was a little girl named Zaylee, and we were reading the letters that were painted on the window, and one of the sayings on there was, "I love you," and she was reading it, and when she figured out what it said, she looked me directly in the eyes, and she said, "I love you." And at that point, I was so shocked because here I am coming to, bless these kids and love on these kids, but I get the blessing and the love in return.
One thing that stuck out to me from the mission trip was the fact that these people on the reservation had so much joy. They were choosing joy in their life, even though they didn't have a lot of stuff. They didn't have everything that we have, but they could feel sorry for themselves, but they chose joy instead.
Our bus driver named Daniel, who was this guy with a great big bushy beard, and he was nuts. He would just sing songs that nobody knew. There was one point where he was playing In the Bleak Midwinter on the harmonica while driving a bus full of kids. And it was in one of those moments where he was either singing or telling a joke or singing some more, was when I really saw how much he had a love for people and how much that love came only from God and how it could only come from God.
Thursday we got to see this bridge. I'm not sure what it was called, but it's basically this bridge where people go to kill themselves. And apparently it has the #2 most suicides in all of America.
The bridge was basically just where people who had lost faith in themselves or just kind of were beaten down, just went up to it and kind of just jumped off to commit suicide. And when we drove over it, I kind of just realized, like, this is just full of hopelessness. Like, all the hopelessness I saw was just crazy, and I realized that Jesus is the only one that can fill that hopelessness, and that's kind of why we were there. And so that kind of just gave me like a new, revitalized me for the next day, and so I could just have fun with the kids and just enjoy myself even more than I ever have.
I experienced God through this one girl, Camille, and this place called Dark Shadows that we went to the first day, and she just loved on me. She didn't know me, and she wanted a piggyback ride. She painted my nails. We would play a game on the jungle gym where I said that the ground was lava, and she would hang upside down, and it was a good time.
On the first day of the blue bus, a lot of the kids would look at me and run away, and it kind of got me really discouraged about talking to the kids and playing with them. So when we got back from the blue bus ministry, when we got back to our cabins, I prayed about it and asked God to help me bond with one of the kids, at least one the next day. And so the next day when we got off the blue bus, these 2 little girls ran up to me and they liked my hair and they wanted to play with it, and they spent the rest of the day with me. So it's kind of an answer to prayer.
I experienced God through this woman named Mary that we met on Thursday, and she was probably like 70, 75-ish, and she asked me to pray for her, and I prayed for her, and she just had so much faith that if I prayed for her and another friend of mine, if we both prayed for her, that her life would just become easier. I was just really inspired by how much faith she had in God.
We take everything for granted, and we do not see how much God loves us until we show others how much He loves us.
If you ever get a chance to step out on faith, if you ever feel something tugging on your heart and you just know it's God, just take it, because what bad could happen out of that? I mean, if you know it's God, of course something's good gonna come of it. It just takes faith. And if you ever get a chance to go on something like this, to go somewhere where your faith is tested, then take it. Even if it's scary, which it was scary, it is so worth it in the end.